Well, today, California's Fair Political Practices Commission confirmed that it did get a formal complaint against Attorney General Rob Bonta.
Yeah, the complaint comes after he used nearly $500,000 in campaign donations to pay for his own attorneys amid a federal bribery investigation. KCRA 3 Political Director Ashley Zavala was first to report this, joins us now with an update and how the Attorney General is responding, Ashley.
Lisa, the Fair Political Practices Commission regulates campaign finance activity in the state. Within the next couple of weeks, they'll decide what action, if any, it will take in response to this complaint against Attorney General Rob Bonta. Documents provided to us by the FPPC show someone named Raphael Ruthchild filed the complaint. They pointed to our reporting from last week and noted how Bonta's 2026 re-election campaign account paid $468,000 total to Wilson Sonsini law firm. Ruthchild claims the campaign improperly used those funds. Bonta said he used the money to hire attorneys in 2024 because he was a witness in the federal bribery investigation that resulted in the indictment of some of his donors, known as the Duong family, and ex-mayor of Oakland, Sheng Tao. In the complaint, he wrote, in part, based on what the Bonta campaign stated in writing and on the record, the purpose of some or all of these legal expenses was for another purpose and not for his committee. That was Raphael Ruthchild in his complaint. On California Politics 360, I pressed the AG about the use of the funds over the weekend, which he and his campaign kept quiet about for months until last week.
The legal fees were for representation that was for me, my capacity as a candidate who has campaigns and receives campaign funding and receives campaign donations when there was a federal government inquiry about as part of an investigation into others. And it seemed they thought I might have information that was potentially relevant to their investigation. And so I wanted to make sure I responded to all of their questions and gave them all the information that they needed to assist as quickly as possible, to be as helpful as possible in their efforts. Maybe some of the things that I could provide would be an important puzzle piece in their investigation of others. So I hired attorneys to assist with gathering of the documents and production of all of the documents that the federal government requested, and they were also there as my attorneys when I went in and spoke to members of the federal government and answered all the questions that they had.
Dan Newman, Bonta's re-election campaign advisor, told me today the complaint is, quote, a silly political stunt completely without merit.
Okay, so who is, let me get his name right, Raphael Ruthchild, the person who filed this thing?
Yeah, that is a great question, considering Bonta's campaign was expecting it to come from a consultant from, someone who's running for governor right now, or an opposing campaign. I've been calling around to see if Raphael Ruthchild is connected to any state officials, politicians, or consultants, whether that's Republican or Democrat. Nothing yet.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right, Ash, thank you.